Hello, how's it going? Tim Werner here. And the subject of today's lesson is Inbox Zero. Inbox Zero is a productivity methodology that's most often accredited to a productivity guru by the name of Merlin Mann, M-A-N-N. He created a website called 43 Folders based on David Allen's Getting Things Done, or GTD method. That's what I've been practicing for my primary productivity for a long time now. I would say 15 years anyway. And what Inbox Zero does is addresses the question that most people have. I'm pretty confident saying most people here, where it's few people indeed who I talk to who keep a clean inbox. And most people I know express some anxiety, some distress, some embarrassment when they talk about their inbox. Why? Well, I know from past experience that my inbox, if I'm not being rigorous about it, my email inbox, of course, is what I'm talking about, then some stuff that is commitment, stuff that's important to me, my responsibilities, are going to slip through the cracks almost by definition. And I know that if I send a request to somebody, they may open the message soon, but they're not in a position to act on it. So they leave the message in their inbox believing they'll get back to it. The problem is, once new messages come in, that important message goes off the first page, never to be seen again. Common and understandable problem. And it's a problem that I haven't had in a decade or more because I practice Inbox Zero. Now, I was doing some research before I started, and Merlin Mann evidently has walked back Inbox Zero, and he says that his inbox isn't always empty, whatever. I just left it at that. It works for me because the idea of having an empty inbox, I immediately breathe easier. It gives me nice anxiety relief and serenity. Ultimately, that's the goal of a productivity methodology, and that's what David Allen, the founder and creator of GTD, always says, having a mind like water that easily adapts to new inputs and new novel situations. And I love to feel peace. I don't think there's anything more important than that. So how does one practice Inbox Zero? Honestly, I can't imagine practicing Inbox Zero without having a foundational methodology around it, and that's where Getting Things Done comes in. You see, the notion of getting things done is that you capture anything of note, anything that, even if you're not sure that it's something that you need to act on, the idea is that you capture it, put it into a trusted system. That way you can relax your mind. You don't have to worry about holding on to it and not forgetting about it, you see? And similarly, when email messages come in, either it's something I can answer right away and be done, or it's something that I need to maybe do an initial response but follow up on, or maybe it's a long-term to-do. There's some decision on every email that comes in, or maybe it's spam and I want to make sure to block it. Anyway, the idea is I'm taking this clarifying decision on every message. So a few times a day, I'm going to go through my messages and make a triage decision. Is it something I can do in 2 minutes? If so, knock it out. Is it something that I need to do but not now? For example, maybe I get a work-related email when it's at night and I'm with my family and I'm not in work mode. I will schedule the message to come back to my inbox the next morning. By contrast, maybe it's Sunday afternoon and I have a request to make of somebody. I'll craft the email and schedule it to send Monday at a good time at the beginning of the person's workday. So are you getting the point here? Inbox Zero is about regularly applying a methodology in terms of figuring out message by message. Is this junk? Is it something I can do in 2 minutes, in which case I'll do it? Does it require more thought? Can I do this now? How can I schedule, that kind of stuff. And ultimately, at the end of this triage process, my inbox is empty, literally, and that's how I prefer it. It's wonderful. How do I get messages to schedule send and to come back to me? Well, for me, the other secret sauce, besides having getting things done as my foundation, is subscribed to a software as a service product called Boomerang. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not getting any affiliate or partnership stuff with any of these things. Just, I want to be clear about that because I'm suspicious when I hear people talking up a technology. I wonder, is this person speaking from their heart or their wallet? You know? No, I have a paid membership, and Boomerang is just one of many services. I mean, Gmail will do scheduled send out of the box, but I like Boomerang. I've gotten accustomed to it. And it's available for more than just Gmail. I use Gmail as my base for my work email and my home email. And Boomerang is an extension to Gmail, so it winds up working well. When I was at Microsoft, I tried to get it to work with Outlook. It is available as an add-in, but Microsoft, for some administrative reason, not a security reason, but for some administration reason, blocked it. And that was really frustrating, honestly. I'm glad to be back at Pluralsight because we use Google Workspace as our main productivity tool set, and therefore I can take advantage of Boomerang all day long. But in a nutshell, Boomerang makes it simple to do that kind of stuff where I respond to somebody and maybe it's not a good time to send the reply now. I can have it schedule send, as I said before. And I use that every day for things like reminders. So maybe I'm reaching out to somebody with a request, right? I will have Boomerang bring the message back to my inbox. That's the metaphor of the boomerang, you see, in like 2 or 3 days. And if no reply, you can even have some logic to where you can have Boomerang return a message after X number of days or whatever, only if the message hasn't been replied to. Sometimes I'll want to have it come back to me regardless. And the net effect of this is twofold. Using Boomerang, I'm able to keep my inbox empty and have that serenity. And I also can sleep at night knowing that nothing's going to slip through the cracks. If I'm waiting on somebody, I'm going to be reminded to follow up with that person after 2 or 3 days, so I don't have to keep that in my head, you know? Like I said, if I have a message that's not appropriate to go out now, I can queue it up and then go to bed at night and not have to worry about it the next day. It's going to go out at the exact right time, you know, because there's quite a bit of accurate psychology on the best times for people to receive messages. I like to schedule about 5-10 minutes after they begin their work hours. That's a nice time to get a high probability of a read, if not a response, you see? So let me think if there's anything else that's coming off the top. Yeah, another thing is, besides Boomerang, is I use a software as a service website called Facile Things, F-A-C-I-L-E, Facile Things, T-H-I-N-G-S. And I've been using them for a couple years now anyway, at least. And this is a guy, his name's Francisco. And he made this web application that rigorously adheres to GTD principles. So it really makes it a lot easier to practice getting things done. And one of the things that Francisco includes in Facile Things is that you can email into your inbox. So sometimes if I'm responding to a message or following up or sending an inquiry, I'll use the blind carbon copy or BCC field to put that item into my GTD workflow as well. Sometimes I'll just keep it in email using Boomerang, but if it's a longer running project, I'll also put it into my trusted system, my Facile Things, where I formally have a list called Waiting For, where it's the stuff, people, places, things I'm waiting for, projects, etc., and it goes on from there. I just can't overstate how revolutionary it was back in the earlier 2000s when I reached such a low point in my productivity trying to keep all my responsibilities in my head where I don't remember exactly how I got turned on to getting things done. It might have been my friend and former colleague Jason Helmick. Now he's a program manager at Microsoft on the PowerShell team, but he's a big GTDer. It might have been Jason who turned me on to it. But boy, what a revolution. It really did. It gave me more than anything else, the peace and serenity of not having to keep everything in my head, because I'm finding as I get older too, my brain is less trustworthy to hold on to important information. And I want to restate for the record that the magic of GTD is the front-end capture. Once you become accustomed to writing stuff down, you'll hear me say that if you and I have any degree of communication, you'll say something and I'll be like, hey, let me write that down. I'm putting it into my GTD inbox because it may be nothing or it may be something very important. But the idea is that if anything tweaks your mind, get it into your system. Because once it's there, it's not going to disappear until you disappear it or delete it. And my brain can just float away. And I know that I have these things here. And then here's the finish up. In GTD, it's critical that you go through your inbox and process it regularly. There's a formal process called a weekly review in getting things done. But I like to clear my inbox, preferably every day. And that's where you can look at these items that you've just randomly captured through the day and determine, okay, this is junk. I thought it was a good idea, but it's junk. This one here, I may want to look at. Why don't I schedule that to take a look at it in a month and have it come back to my inbox? This one here, oh, I need to do this right now, actually. You see what I'm saying? That kind of thing. It's called the clarify stage in GTD. Okay, well, it looks like we're over 10 minutes, and I really want to keep these sessions as short as possible, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you found this lesson helpful. I'll see you. Thank you.